Coaches, what's the challenge of going up against a quarterback that you may not have a lot of film on and don't really know and haven't seen him playing in the league?
Just a lot of unknown, right? We don't have really any tendencies on him right now. We watched him play last week. I thought he went in there, did some good things in the preseason versus, but yeah, a lot of we don't know about the kid.
So how do you prepare for that then, Ryan?
We just gotta go through, what we have in our breakdowns as far as what we anticipate seeing them. We'll probably go back and revisit some games last year when they had the quarterbacks injured, look at some of the ways they attacked us. So I got a pretty good feeling what we think they're going to do, and we just got to go out there and almost treat it like a preseason game on defense. Just go out there and execute our jobs.
Week 7, you kind of think that this is almost like a playoff game for these guys here too, especially after the way they started the season now with 2 straight wins and trying to battle back in the Eastern Division.
Yeah, I think they're a resilient group. They've shown over the last few years. I think they started slow, then they won the last 2, so they're rolling again, and confident group. I don't think they'll bat an eye, and we're coming in their building, and fans are going to be excited about it. Sure they will be, and sure we are as well. So it's going to be a good game.
You go back to Friday in Montreal. I mean, 15 penalties. How do you guys tackle that this week and get that under control?
Yeah, it's been an emphasis last week. It's always an emphasis for us, but it was a big emphasis last week, and we didn't execute it. So that falls on me not getting those guys to fall in line with that. We've been explaining it all week to them. We got to clean up the penalties. The first 2 weeks we were pretty good. The last 2 weeks we were sloppy. So we had some offsides today. We got to clean that up. So it's a learning process for us throughout the week.
I know you continue to harp about building a culture in this room and building a culture within on the field. I know on Friday, I mean, you guys get the win, but it didn't really feel like a win to most players. I mean, is that something that you admire about this group as well, knowing that they want to continuously get better and maybe, hey, we did get the win on Friday, but we're not where we want to be?
Yeah, no doubt. And I felt like the guys felt like it was a loss, right? And the coaching staff, we felt like it was a loss. It wasn't an enjoyable win. The one thing, though, I told the guys at the end of the game, they were resilient. They did find ways to win. They did stick together through all the BS that was happening on the field. So, and I told them, hey, blood's in the water now, man. They're going to be baiting us. They're going to be looking up for us to be the second guy that reacts, and normally the second guy gets caught.
Ryan, your offense has been very efficient this year. You've kept turnovers to a minimum, and you've been able to excel. And you excelled in Montreal in the second and down situations. How important has that been for this team's success?
It's been huge, right? And then the fact we've been balanced. We haven't been in second a long time, so we've been able to dictate some of the coverages we want in our pass game. But it always starts with the run, and then once we get that going, then we'll have some more passes. I think last week we had to really rely on Chad, and Chad answered.
And he's also been very, very resilient too, and not making mistakes with the ball and just doing what's basically asked of him.
No doubt. And it's like we say, just make the routine plays. Let's end every drive with a kick. You don't have to make every throw. And then when we call upon you late in the game like last week, let's make those throws. But he'll learn from the turnover last week, got away with it the week before. As a young quarterback, you're going to have some mistakes. You just got to learn from them.
I mean, he is a young quarterback, but this is his 6th pro season. So do you see sort of that maturation that you wouldn't see if he was making just his 4th pro start period?
Yeah, no question. He's seen a lot of football, understands a lot of football. Obviously, grew up around it. It's in his DNA. So, he's a young kid as far as experience in our league, but we feel like he's going to continue to grow each week and get better.
Coach, when you look back at last season, I mean, the rushing game wasn't really there. I think it was, week 6 or 7, this team got their first rushing TD. Now you guys are averaging 30 points a game. And what's the difference between last year's offense and this year's offense that you see?
Well, I think when we got Ryan Hunter in the building late last year, we started running the ball a little bit more in the playoffs. I thought we were running the ball well then. Not where we exactly wanted to be, but you look at in the playoffs, we ran the ball well. It started with Ryan. I just think we're more physical up front. We got Cage back. He's healthy. Tate's added some physical element there. And schematically, we looked at some different things, trying to be advantageous as we can to give our guys a chance to be successful.
Any of your walking, when did you expect to play this week?
We'll see. We're still waiting on Jordan, see if we get him back. Probably some of those decisions will be made tomorrow.
Comment on your season so far, Chad. Some of the things that you've liked, some of the things you haven't liked, and you think you can get better at?
Obviously 3 picks. We want to clean that up. I think the biggest thing is just getting more comfortable each and every game, right? As you go, you're going to get more familiar with, different looks. The more you play, the more you get comfortable, I think, for sure. And, there's a lot to like. I mean, we are 4-0, we don't want to look back and be like, hey, man, like that was really good. We got to obviously keep getting better and better each and every day. But I think for the most part, it's good, and we just got to clean up some things. We're doing some different things than we did last year, and we're just still trying to get used to each other, used to, obviously the cadence that we're bringing, and, there's a lot of other things too.
But you've been very efficient with the ball this year. I mean, you talk about the 3 picks, but you've got 100 attempts and only 3 picks. I think that's not a bad ratio. And I mean, have you been happy with the way the offense has protected the ball this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think the O-line is setting, a physicality each and every snap that, we need, right? We want to run the ball and then pass when we have to. And, I think as a group effort, we are gelling together. It's still early in the season. There's a lot more work to be done, but at least every day everybody's coming out with an attitude and a will to want to get better.
How much fun are you having now that you finally have a team, your team, and you're playing and you're not looking over your shoulder?
Yeah, I'm having the most fun I've had since I was in Little League football, really. I honestly think, like, after the game, I got in the locker room and, I was just like, man, like, it finally felt like I was a little kid again outside playing football. Obviously college was fun, but, like, to actually feel like your body was feeling good, everything was, like, just meshing together, and you were having fun. It was like a little kid, and the game was going back and forth, and, it's an amazing game to play, man. It really is, and especially to be out there. I'm super blessed, and with great coaches and great players, it makes my job a lot easier.
I mean, that Coxie TD, the trust that you have to have in your receivers. Can you talk about that and the trust that you have with those guys throughout the course of the year and how you guys have been able to build that trust?
Yeah, well, he was hurt obviously for camp, and he was able to get back out there, I think, for that last preseason game for a couple series. And every day after practice during camp, I was like, hey, I want you to stay out here for another 5-10 routes so we can still get the gelling going. And he's worked a fantastic job getting back, but we've known he's a playmaker. We saw day one of training camp last year. And I just think everybody's kind of working together. Nobody's too big for the team, and everybody wants to get better.
What are you expecting come Friday?
Hopefully a lot of points, man. I mean, that's the goal, is to go out there, be efficient. But we know Hamilton's no slouch. We know they're a very good team. They have great players, great coaches. And, I'm not just saying that. Those guys work hard over there. We know that. And we're going to have to give it our all. It's going to be a hostile environment, and we're going to make sure we have to, stay ahead of the sticks.
What did you see on that Coxie thing that we didn't? Because to a layman, it looked like he was really tightly covered.
Yeah, he was covered. He definitely was. But, I heard Dan Marino say one time that you can't defend a perfect pass, right? And, one of my guys that I played high school ball with, and he was like, man, that guy is covered. And, but that's what happens. The great players make great plays, and you see that in Coxie every single day. He comes out here, he works hard, and I think there's just a lot of guys that are wanting to become the best player ever.
I can't remember if you got hit on that play or not. Did you see it in full speed, the one-handed catch, or did you have to look up in the replay?
Yeah, I didn't really get to see. I didn't even know he caught it one hand until after they started reviewing. I was like, wait, did he catch that? And he was like, yeah, he caught it. I was like, holy smokes. I mean, that was an amazing catch. Obviously, that's one of the greatest catches I've ever seen, for sure.